Hello, everybody. My name is James Costello, and I'm doing my ASL 200 project on resources for parents of deaf children. There are three questions I want you to be on the lookout for. Number one is, what is the difference between a hearing screening and a hearing exam? The second one is, what is one big obstacle in getting your child to a deaf school? And the third one is, what is the difference between PDSD, the Phoenix State School for the Deaf and Blind, and the Tucson Arizona State for the Deaf and Blind campus? Uh, what is the difference between those two schools? All right, let's move on with the introduction. First thing, I'll give a little introduction about myself. I'm married. I have three children. Two of those children are deaf. Now, why do I tell you that? It's because your child, when they're born, may be deaf for many reasons. The biggest reason is we don't know why. Maybe genetic, which is why my wife and I have two deaf children. Maybe premature, maybe an illness. We don't know. Just be aware that there's just many reasons, and you know, something you can do. Um, don't beat yourself up about it. But this may be your first interaction with a deaf person, is your deaf baby. Just be aware of that. So how are we going to figure out if your baby may be deaf? Well, their hospital's going to whisk away your baby for about 15 minutes, and someone, a nurse, or somebody's going to do a newborn screening on your child. It's a quick uh, quick test. It doesn't tell you if your child is deaf or not deaf. All it tells you, it basically says, is there's a problem and you need to get referred to actually get a hearing exam. Now, what they told me, my wife and I, is that it might be fluid stuck in the baby's ears because my wife had a C-section. But whatever the case is, you got a referral to go get a hearing exam. Okay? Understand that's all that the hearing screening is, just a referral. Now, after that, you're going to be getting ready, day or two or whatever. You're going to be getting ready to leave the hospital. Make sure you get as much paperwork as you can from them, including the referral that your baby did not pass the hearing screening. You need that because that is what's going to help you get your referral to go get your actual uh, test, your hearing test. Um, but make sure you get that paperwork and make sure you review it all. It's going to be a lot to take in. And then you're going to be on your way home. And now you're home, and if you're anything like me and my family and my wife, you're going to go on the internet and you're going to start to scour the internet for all information on what deafness is and how it possibly happened to your baby and what to do and what's the best way to raise them, all these things, right? Audiologists, you're going to read about the best doctors, what parent groups, speech pathologists, this, that, this. All that information is great, but don't make any big decisions yet. Don't let your thoughts take the best of you. Go and get that hearing exam first before you start to let your mind wander, because like they told me, it might be fluid in the ears. So you need to go get that hearing exam. So you got to get that referral, get it from your doctor. So now you're going to go get your hearing exam. The test that they're going to conduct on your baby is going to be called an auditory brainstem response test. Basically, if you look on the bottom right of this picture here, they're going to set these wires up on your baby. Note that your baby has to be asleep for the whole test. It takes about 2 hours, and they're testing to see all the hearing ranges of your baby. You will get the test results that day. But note this, that if your baby does not stay asleep for the whole test, that you'll have to get your baby's, you'll have to go back for another test at the hospital, and they'll sedate your baby to complete the test. I had to do this with both of my children, but it was the best accurate way to get a hearing test to figure out how deaf my children were. And we did get the results that day. So now you've got your results back, you went back home, and now you are actually on the education phase where you need to start understanding what deafness is. I suggest you go to the Gallaudet University, which is a great spot for resources. That's on the internet, and they specialize within deafness, obviously, because it's Gallaudet and University, and they're a whole ASL school that uses ASL for communication for the deaf. They're an amazing school. But locally, we have the Arizona Commission for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing. I recommend you go here in person and talk with them and get as much literature, and they'll help direct you, give you some ideas on what to do with the direction that you want to go with your child. And there is no right or wrong way. All right, you've got your information, you're going through it, and you come across this, and this is really hard. Speaking, or hearing, should I say, speaking, hearing, or deaf. Um, Now, why do I say that? It's because you're going to have to make a decision on which route you're going to raise your children. There's no wrong decision, but there's two different routes to go. You have the speaking route, or the deaf route. Let me elaborate further on that. If you go to speaking route, your child will basically use technology to help amplify sound so that they can use their voice to speak. Oralism is what it's called. There is an oralism school here in Arizona. It's called Desert Voices. So if you choose that route, which is nothing wrong with that, that's what me and my wife started with. We started with my son James, oralism. Lots of speech pathologists, uh, lots and lots of using your speech, lots of practice. Um, Take note that cued speech is not a language, which is another version of that will help your child communicate. It's more of a system that's used for communication, but it is not a language. But with oralism, there may be some sounds your child may or may not ever hear, even with the assisted technology devices. But it's your choice as a parent, and there's nothing wrong with either choice. And the other route to go is to learn American Sign Language. And this is basically to embrace your child's deafness and learn about deaf culture and just let them thrive in this. I will tell you this, that after I changed my son from oralism route to American Sign Language, he started using letters, numbers, words, calendars, weeks, math. Now he understands all of that. But before, because the hearing technology couldn't bring his sound up to what I could hear, he was still not hearing all the noises, and it prevented him from learning and getting a good education. American Sign Language is a full language with its own set of rules and grammar systems, and it is an amazing way for deaf people to learn. All right, so now you're figuring out which direction you want to go with your child. Well, the Arizona State for the Deaf and Blind will come in, and they're going to help you as well. They have something called the Deaf Mentor Program, which is where a person who is deaf comes into your household and helps you learn sign language and exposes your deaf children, to sign language too. We took advantage of this program. We loved it, and it helped us learn and get our introduction into sign language, which is our children's primary means of communication. Another program that they have is the early learning programs, where they have a teacher of the deaf come into your house and help you develop techniques on how to train you on techniques on how to properly educate and raise your children. Because raising a deaf child is different than raising a hearing child, because a hearing person can hear your instructions where a deaf person can't, so they can't comprehend what's going on. So you need to learn how to raise your deaf child properly, and it's a little different, but that's why they're there. They're there to help you understand and grow and learn from this. And they come into your house and they teach you all these things, and they work with you and help you develop the techniques on how to educate your child properly. Other community resources out there, there are a ton, as you can see at this list here. You can go online, you can find them all online. I will say this, in our community here in Arizona, we have the Hands and Voices. It is a national organization, but in Arizona, we have an Arizona chapter, and it is a parent-run organization that brings people like myself and the community, brings us all together who have deaf children, so we can talk and communicate with each other. They also have deaf mentors as well. They're another resource for parents to use. Types of hearing aid devices. Well, whether or not your child's going to use ASL or oralism, I recommend getting a hearing aid, even just for background situational awareness. But there are three different types. First type we're going to talk about are the hearing aids. There's all different kinds, in the ear, behind the ear, all different brands. Just know, for me and my children, their hearing loss is so bad that no matter what hearing aid we give them, it will never raise their hearing to the level of what I can hear. So hearing aids are great, but they're not a fix. It doesn't fix the hearing. Okay, just know that. Please know that. A cochlear implant is another type of device that your child can use. I know this, you have to be a candidate for a cochlear implant. Not everybody's a candidate for it. Basically, it's a surgically inserted device in your head. They put some wire through the cochlea and it picks up the signals. Know this as well. Uh, People may think that, oh, I'll get a cochlear implant, I can hear just like a normal person. That's not how it works. Remember, no matter what happens, your child most likely will never hear like us. It basically raises the hearing to a higher level, and they have to learn how to use all these new sounds that they never heard before. It takes a lot of speech and language therapy after the cochlear implant. The last one we're going to talk about is bone conduction hearing aids. Basically, it's a device that will sit on the bone, uses vibration, and then your ear picks up the vibrations, which then you can now hear things. All different devices, as you can see here. Here's in these pictures here. I know some of them are pretty bad, but just know there's just lots of different technologies out there to help your child have some hearing, so that they can go out and live a life and get a good education. So you've went out and you've picked up your hearing aids, you've kind of found the direction of which route you want to go with your child. Well, now what's going to happen is once your child hits the age of 3, something's going to change here. Now, IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, Part C is what your child was currently under from birth to the age of 3, which is that ASDB. Now, from 3 to 5, or I'm sorry, from 3, I apologize. From 3 to 5, your child is eligible for services still, but after 5, then your child goes into the school system, and they are eligible for resources until your child graduates or hits the age 21. But just know that the school takes over responsibility to helping your child with any kind of different education, special programs that they're going to need. Now that your child belongs to the school, your child also belongs to the district. And this is going to be one of the major obstacles, one of the hardest obstacles for you to overcome, is that if your school district is not familiar with how to properly educate deaf children, then they're going to give a lot of pushback on letting your child go to the Phoenix State School for the Deaf and Blind, or whatever school that you may deem proper for them. So just know that the local district is probably going to be one of your biggest obstacles, but you can get it done. You can definitely get it done. Now, once you get your child to go to a deaf school, there are 2 options here. We have the Phoenix State School for the Deaf and Blind, and then we have the ASDB, Arizona School for the Deaf, Tucson campus here. The big difference between the 2, aside from their location, aside from that, one's in Phoenix, one's in Tucson. The Phoenix Day School is a day school where your child goes to for the day and then gets sent home. The Tucson campus is a school where they stay at overnight. It's basically, they stay at the campus the whole time while they're in school. They stay at the campus. So one's a day school where they go home, and the other one's a school where they stay at for the school year. Big difference between the school. They're both terrific, and they will both help your deaf child learn American Sign Language. All right, let's wrap things up here with the conclusion. I know I went over a ton of information here, but if you look at this upper left-hand slide here, you basically have, in my opinion, you have 2 ways to go, the oralism route or the ASL route. And remember, you can change this at any time. You can even teach your child both, total communication. Just know this, there's no wrong choice. Whatever road you decide to go down, there is no wrong choice. And also, the next thing I want to talk about is the journey does not end at the age of 5. There are still many, many different resources and many, many different things for you to explore for the deaf community. I suggest you go out there and reach it and get involved. And that is the best way to learn, is to get active in the deaf community and speak to other parents. That's what I really recommend. And for me, my family here, you can see in the right here, look, I shared a lot of experiences with you guys. I really hope it helped you through your journey that you're going through right now. It's a new, exciting adventure, and it is for me and my family, and we love it. It's a whole new culture for you to go and experience and enjoy. And now you can be part of that because of your child, if you choose to be. And I suggest you do. Get out there and explore and educate yourself and love your child for who they are. And if they're deaf, they're deaf. It's just the way life is. And thank you guys for watching my program. My slideshow. Here are the answers to my questions, which I said in there. And also, here are my references. Thank you guys. Have a great day.